And we're back live. Joe Marotta Around the Tracks, broadcasting live from the Classic Car Museum, Dirt Car Hall of Fame here in Weedsport, New York. If you're in the area, come on out and say hello, and we'll get you on the air, or you can just sit there and watch and see and say hello and view the museum. Have a couple donuts. Don't touch my Tim Hortons donuts. Hey, we got to talk about a good friend, Charlie Cabrera, up there in Plasky, New York. You know, if it was 7 below here, Bob said it was 10 below over there. Up in Plasky, it had to be 15 below. I'm going to tell you, it is cold outside, but only because this is the time of the year, because when summer comes. Bob O'Connor alongside of me from the Syracuse Nationals, right coat. See what jacket I got on today?
Great jacket.
I got on a right coat jacket, yes. And one of the things, you know, a lot of people are probably saying, come on, Joe, that's July 19, 20, and 21st. You know, it comes around quicker than you can think all the time. But the Syracuse Nationals this year is going to feature something that you race car nuts are going to really enjoy. And Bob, you tell us what it's going to be.
Well, half of the horticulture building is going to be named Gasoline Alley. And Gasoline Alley is going to contain cars of every type of racing there is, from drag racing to NASCAR to asphalt to dirt racing, sprint car racing. As we know, the street riding movement came from dry lights racing, and so that's where it all came from. So we want to go back and show where hot rodding came from.
That was it. I mean, particularly out in California, that old jalopy division that they ran out there, those were like street rides or roadsters and things like that. And that obviously got into the car cruising culture and all that. And you know, this is funny. I go to car cruises virtually all over the United States when I'm traveling. And you stop to talk to people. Almost 99% of the people you talk to that's a motorhead, that's what they call it. A motorhead. The derivative of that sport for them started with either drag racing. Look at Bob, you guys, you were part of the Syracuse Road Night. Yep, and your brother was the driver of the car and so on. But started from some form of racing. Whether it be drag racing, oval track racing, street racing. Oh, you're not supposed to street racing. No, that never happened. No, never did. Never did that. But
my wife actually did that. 1965. I was in school in Boston. I left my brand new 65 SS with her 300 horse 4-speed. After I come back from school, I found out she was drag racing on Slime Street.
Well, I remember going down on South Line Street right downtown, and you could run the traffic lights up and down. You'd go all the way down to it was called Carroll's then, way down on Salina Street. You do the U-turn in the parking lot and head back up the other way. And after you got dusted a few times, you parked it on the side and watched everybody else. I parked it early. But it was always a lot of fun. One of the reasons why you're here today, you're talking to Jake Fish. By the way, I didn't mention Jack Spino's name. And Jack Spino is not here today. He is down in the Albany, New York area. Glenn Donnelly is being inducted into the New York State Stock Car Association Hall of Fame today. And his good buddy Jack Spino is accompanying him. And the other reason why Jack is down there, he's going to meet with some high monkey monks for trying to get some grants and funding for the museum and to keep this program going. But one of the reasons why you're here, Bob, I put you in touch with Jake Fish, and of course you'll be meeting Jack Spino. But some of the cars that are on the floor here will be down there at the State Fairgrounds.
That'll be a great addition to our display down to the section.
And the first one that I took him to take a look at was the Batmobile. And that's gotta be there. There's no question about it. That really changed all racing here in the upstate New York area in 1980. Was it for the better? Was it for the worse? Obviously the car got banned, but it certainly set a mark, and it sent a message to so many of the car builders, race car drivers, and so on. There's air out there. Let's use that air to go racing. You know,
aerodynamics.
So part of the Syracuse Nationals this year, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, New York State Fairgrounds Club will have gasoline. I just can't wait for that.
Artie Schilling, East Coast Artie, to organize the Pinstripers charity auction. He's putting all this together, and we're going to help him with it, and it's going to be a great display.
Anything special going to happen this year that we should be aware of?
Well, we're going to do an autocross. That's going to be
really?
autocross. Our personality is Danielle from American Pickers.
Oh, really?
She's going to be stopped. She'll be there for Saturday, all day Saturday. All day.
How about my friend, Candy Clark?
Candy Clark will be there.
Candy Clark from American. Hey, Bob, you know that this is the 40th year anniversary of the movie American Graffiti. That brings, see, I got like 5 all-time great movies, okay?
Yeah.
And that is in the top 5. You know what number 1 is? Barb, what's number 1? Dirty Dancing is up there. No, Godfather. Godfather. No, Godfather. No, but American Graffiti, the 40th anniversary. Grease. And Grease is up there, yeah. And of course, that's my style of stuff. And I understand there's going to be some celebrations around the upstate New York area this summer for American Graffiti. I heard nothing about a drive-in night at Midway up there and so on, you know. But American Graffiti, I mean, that was the culture, right?
Absolutely.
That was the culture.
That barely kicked the whole thing off.
That was just really, really neat. Bob, I'm going to have you on the show a couple times, obviously, before the event. But, folks, make sure you mark that down on your calendar, 19th, 20th, and 21st of July. Get there early, stay late, because something is going on all day long. And got my golf cart all ready?
Yep.
Okay, great. By the way, is the video done from last year?
Yes, it is.
Yeah?
Yes, it is. And I have some. I should have brought one with me. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you, thank you. But I had such a great time doing it, let me tell you. I mean, you got to wipe the smile off my face at the end of the day.
Well, you know why I'm excited about it this year, Joe?
Why?
My car's finally 25 years old.
His Camaro is finally 25 years old.
Make it in. It's not really ready, but we're going to have it in there and have some fun.
I still can't take my Chevy SSR.
Not yet.
Sunday,
Oh, Sunday, it was just all event day.
American Muscle Sunday.
American Muscle Sunday. I don't know if you noticed on the back side of the museum here is my 56 Dodge.
So I was just looking at it.
Yeah, so we'll have to roll that out and get that. Well, it's been there every single year, right, since the beginning.
Yep.
So, hey, Bob, thanks for stopping and talking to us, and looking forward to Gasoline Alley. All right, Bob, keep up the good work over there. Hillary, let's get you over here. Let's talk to this young lady. And third-generation driver coming alongside of me right now. And Hillary just talked right into here. Hillary, have you driven yet on the track?
I had one season at Fulton so far, and I went to Penkin and Thunder Mountain twice, but about it. I had 16 races, I think.
16 races under your belt. Now, we've had a couple of lady drivers on our show in the past, one of them last week, and obviously, as a matter of fact, we expected her to be here today, and that's Caitlin King. You know Caitlin?
Yes.
She was on a cruise. She just got back from a cruise.
No, she was on it.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she was on last week. But anyways, where are you going to be racing this coming year?
Mostly Fulton, again.
And you're running what, in the sportsman division?
I'm going to stay in novice.
Novice sportsman.
I want to get a win before.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do, yeah.
I want to know what victory lane is like.
Oh, it's nice. You can smell the roses in there.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stick with novice for now and see where that takes me, or hopefully to be able to move up shortly.
Now, folks that are here today can purchase one of the Hillary Award T-shirts, black, in chains, lettering and everything. How much are the T-shirts?
They're $15.
$15, okay.
They're going to benefit my trip to Race 101, which I'm going to take. I'm going to go to North Carolina a couple times this year.
Okay.
I'm leaving Thursday for the first time.
What got you excited? I mean, usually young ladies, you know, maybe a Camaro convertible would get them excited in the automotive or a Corvette or something like that, but what got you excited into racing?
And I've been watching my dad, Mike Ward, do it forever. I was on his crew for a long time.
I remember when he was just a little guy.
My grandpa drove, you know, my cousin Pat.
Your grandpa is?
Chet Ward.
Chet Ward, okay, and number 45.
Yep.
Your number is going to be 45.
Yep.
You remember Chet Ward racing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And I remember him racing up
We
there.
got one of Pat Ward's cars right over there.
And now Pat Ward is what, a cousin?
Cousin, my second cousin.
He's a second cousin, and yeah, one of the old show car cars. How much do you maintain the car yourself? Do you do a lot of the rent work yourself?
I haven't done as much as I should. I learned to...
Mike, did she work at all on the car?
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
I learned to drive before I learned the car. He
Okay.
built it without me, and then I came and drove, and then I learned throughout the season more and more. So I'm hoping Race 101 is going to help me a lot.
Well, and you know, I think trying to work on the car keeps you abreast of what's going on in the car as you're driving. You can pull in and tell him something what the car is doing. But now you can pretty much diagnose it in your head if you really know the mechanics of the car.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping understanding the car will make me a better driver.
there you go, there you go, there you go. Well, listen, we wish you a lot of luck this year. Hope to get up and see a race and this one-on-one experience. And listen, stick around that Caitlin team because obviously
She's a good influence.
she knows her way around the racetrack, and she certainly has proved to be a good runner. And you know, when you strap that helmet on and put that fire suit on and strap those belts on, it's not woman, it's not man, it's a race driver in that car, and that's the way you got to approach it, you know.
And Hillary improved a lot over the course of last year. I watched her from the beginning of the year, and the driver I saw at the end of the year was a different driver. So it'll happen soon, Hillary.
Thank you.
Listen, we got to take another break here on CNY Talk Radio. Hold on, we're going to be back. Thanks.
Stick around, I'll get you afterwards. Okay.
Oh.
That size. Small. And we are back live from the Classic Car Museum here in Weesport, New York, and Doug Elkins alongside me. Doug, isn't it always exciting to be here?
Yeah, it is. I've forgotten about some of the cars that are in here, and even just the photos on the wall, the body panels, of course the Hall of Fame members themselves. It's great coming back here.
It's certainly a trip down memory lane. We got to talk about alongside of me. Johnny Canale is one of my all-time favorite alongside of me right now. Doug, I'm going to chat with you for a second. Just be patient, John. Okay? It's like waiting.
My time is yours.
Yeah, it's just like waiting for that starting lineup. You know, and you're in the car, buckled up. It's 105 degrees, and then the guys, the drivers, probably say, "Well, you guys shut up so we can go racing, man."
That's it.
Doug, you and I have announced a lot of races here at the Union County Fairgrounds, Rolling Wheels Raceway. Of all the races that we have announced, is there any one race that sticks out in your mind as the most
It's kind of like my audition for him, and then I got to work with you. I remember we were here at the place. I was so intimidated. Glenn Donnelly's there, and Gary Spade, and everybody that I had known. Jack Spino's there. And, you know, then they told me I'd be sitting right between Glenn Donnelly and Joe Marotta, and it's like, oh wow, there's no pressure here. So it was a fun night. I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember it went by very quickly. I remember I was about as intimidated as you could possibly be.
Well, you did a good job. You did a good job. You know, one of the races that always sticks out in my mind, it was a July 4th race at the Rolling Wheels Raceway. I've mentioned this before. Danny Johnson won his qualifying heat that night in the Freightliner car number 6. He pulled in the pit area. Ray Bramel was the car owner at the time, and Ray had still owed him some money from the previous year because he had won Super Derby.
I see.
And Danny come out of the car and said, like, "Where's my money? Where's that?" You know. And Danny's and apparently a little misunderstood understanding took place. And Danny says, "I'm walking," and he leaves the ride.
Wow, right in the middle of the race.
Right in the middle of the race, and Gary Tompkins found out about it, and Gary mentioned to Bill Trout, his car owner at the time, "Danny's looking for a ride. Why don't we let him? We're already qualified. Why don't we let him drive the backup car?" And the deal was made by a shake of the hand. It was the first time I think Danny was ever in a Big Nell car, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You remember that night at
Yeah,
all?
I do remember that. He started last.
He started
Made it to the
33rd.
Conti.
Well, no, did he have to run it? I don't think. No, he started 33rd.
Right, he would have been a guaranteed
Yeah, he
starter.
was a guaranteed starter, and he got into that race 33rd. There was only 2 cautions in the 100-lap event, and worked his way up and passed Brett Hearn on lap number 97. And I got to tell you, you know, of all the races that I have seen and called or whatever, that is one of the ones that really stands out in my mind.
If I remember correctly, Joe Closet came back from right about the same spot, and I think finished 2nd or 3rd that
It could
same night.
have got by Hearn at the end too.
Yeah, he did. So yeah, but that was an amazing race. As you started picking up Danny at about position 15, and then, oh wait, he's in the top 10. And
We're doing
he's
that.
in the top 5, and he's
Yeah,
not going to win it,
yeah.
is he? And sure enough, he did.
By the way, last week at the Area Auto Racing News big trade show that they had down there in the driver, the best driver of the last 50 years, was voted as Brett Hearn. The second one was picked as Richie Evans, then Billy Pouch, Frankie Schneider, Kenny Brightville, Freddie Raymer, Dick Toby Tobias, Jimmy Horton, Will Cagle, and Danny Johnson rounded out the top 10. So those were fan votes. Oh, another thing I want to mention too, while I look at my notes here. Rich Nettie, who has been a real stable person in the hot rods and custom cars and so on out of Auburn, New York here, passed away just a while ago, and really big loss to the car industry and all of his friends here in the upstate New York area, and we certainly pass along a lot of condolences to the Nettie family. And also Phil Burkhart Sr. Phil Burkhart Jr., we all know he's been on the show, the drag racer, ran for John Ford, ran his own equipment. Phil Sr., who ran the garage down there in Utica, New York, passed away, I believe, yesterday. So condolences also to the Burkhart family.
Burkhart Automotive
Yep.
Utica area.
Yep. Hey, I got Johnny Padella alongside of me right now, and do you remember when Johnny ran, Doug?
Yes, I do.
Okay, the number 4 car, and we were talking about rolling wheels, and former track champion in 1977. Oh yeah, those were the days back then, and you know, here again, the Padella family, I think, really should be recognized for the contributions they have made here to the upstate New York area. Yourself as a driver, your Uncle Frank is a driver, your mom and dad, I mean, they were just staples. Your dad in the pit area, then in the grandstand, and your mom always sat in the grandstand at one certain spot with that little beanie hat on. And boy, if I said something wrong about Johnny Padella, I got corrected when I got downstairs and everything, but it was all in fun, and we always had a great association. And John, I really have to thank you for all the contributions you and your family has made to the dirt tracking industry.
I appreciate that, Joe. Yeah, my mom, we only ran a couple of years of asphalt, but you say that, but her favorite driver was Dutch Oaks. I had to keep her away from Dutch. No matter where we went, she'd always be in Dutch's pits. I am just speaking to her and talking to her, so it was a tough time on the asphalt. She wanted to be around Dutch. That's all she wanted to be around.
Now, I see you talking to Carl Shartner. There he is over there today, earlier. And, of course, you got up to Oswego Speedway last summer, and that small block super modified division kind of bit Johnny Padella.
It did. I liked it. I liked the competition. It was really good, and all the guys, it seemed like a tremendous class to be involved in. I just liked it. I went there three times I was up there. One time I went up there to watch Auto Run, and I just liked the way they were. I liked the way the whole situation was, and we're going to try to do something. We're going to, we've actually located a car, some pieces, motors. We're trying to put a few things together. We need a couple of investors naturally to get on board and make this thing happen. If not, we're still going to look for a ride for sure. But
okay.
If this goes, we're going to call it Good Time Racing. We're going to do Oswego every Saturday night. And I don't care if anything we make from $50 to $500, we're going to donate to local charity. It's going to be Good Time Racing. This is what we're going to do.
Well, gee, John, that's really neat. You know, I was reading in Area Auto Racing News this week. I don't know if you saw it, Doug. They interviewed all those drivers that were in the top 10. And Will Cagle, who is, I think it said 74. Harry, is he 74? Somewhere around there.
75. No, he'll be 75.
He'll be 75, okay. On March 24th, that's how he got his number 24, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And he wants to go back racing. And he says in this article that I read, I think it was in a Lenny Salmon's column, if I'm not mistaken, he said, you know, I might be 74, 75, but my mind is 20 years old, and I can still do it. Do you think he can?
I think he could do it easily. I think age sounds kind of crazy to say, but age is just a number. If you stay in decent shape, and I think you're okay. It's not like you're trying to play football. You could do this racing thing. So, you know, I'm sure you could do it.
How long has it been for you, John?
It's been about 12 years. Missed a lot, and we had a lot of success, and just I want to do it again. And that's, we made our mind up to make a commitment this year. We're going to do it.
Feature wins, John. How many feature wins did you have?
12. I won 12.
12 feature wins.
I've got 65 seconds.
Wow. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
That's how we ended up down in Maryland Toll. I won the Kodak Driver of the Year in '82 because we had the most seconds in that year.
Really?
One year we had like 29 seconds. Lake beat me 26 times. It was like second every single week. It was getting out of hand.
So you get a flashback when you look at the back of that number 4
I
car,
think that
don't
could
you?
still be competitive. It looks it, doesn't it? Boy, God, I almost lost it there, but I think they could be towed out of here and be in the top 10.
Very good. Yeah.
By the way, what we're talking about is one of the old Dave Lake cars, one of the old Lou Lazzaro cars, and you ran in front and behind alongside a lot of those cars.
Lou Lazar was great, just a great guy, just a great person.
Remember his dog?
Blackie?
Blackie the dog.
I chased Blackie away a few times, but Louis was a good guy.
Well, Blackie was the intimidator. He would send the dog over.
Blackie, you're hooked.
But that was part of the old racing game, really. And, that's what. By the way, one of the things I want to mention too, Pam is over there swinging on some coffee, and she was talking to me about this museum is open. It can be open for special events and so on, but really what they need is donations.
Yeah.
They need donations to keep this going. And if anybody has a handle on how they can get some good donations, or even if they just want to drop off a $20 bill for a donation, they're definitely going to take it. Right now, the place is in need of a furnace, right?
Yep.
So you know what we ought to do is contact 3 furnaces? How about one big one? It's like 3 backup motors. Yeah. What we're going to do is contact someone like maybe Ernie Price and see if they can locate maybe a used one or something that could help out here. And Wayne is over there giving me the fist again because he's out of beer fingers. We've got to take our final break, and then we're going to be heading towards the checkered flag. Thank you. Doug Elton's alongside me, and Jay Fish has been very instrumental here with the committee and with the folks that are putting on this museum. And Jay, they handed me a picture a little bit earlier, not the one with me. I appreciate that one. Here's a picture, Rick Appleby, I believe, gave it to me. It's an old picture, obviously, from Port Byron, New York. And whose gas station?
Harris Martin.
Harris Martin's gas station. And in front of it was couple race cars. And you know, before the New York State Thruway was built and the Interstate 81 and all the interstates around the United States, you had to travel on the 5s and 20s and the Route 11s and just the inner roads of America, okay? Sometimes I'd like to take a vacation across the United States and not take one interstate. But in every town you pulled in, you would see a little Mobile, a little Sunoco, a little Shell, a little Gulf station, Sinclair station, and there'd always be some kind of a race car. No matter what town you went through, if there were 2 or 3 gas stations, you usually saw 2 or 3 race cars, whether they be a drag car, whether they be an oval track dirt car, asphalt car. As time went on, you got up into the 50s, 60s. They became late model cars. You'd see a 57 Chevy on a trailer. I remember once we went up to St. Anne, Quebec, Canada, and went through some little town, and there a guy had a beautiful 57 Chevrolet on the trailer. So I pulled in, and my wife said, "What are we doing here?" And I said, "Oh, I got to buy gas." And $4 a gallon back then. And I look at the car, and I started asking questions about the 57 Chevrolet, and the guy couldn't speak a word of English. But this was inner America. This was what brought up racing, the ground roots of American racing. And it's so good to see a photo like this because everybody had it. And that's what you see when you come here to the Classic Car Museum for auto racing right here in Williamsport, New York. Jay, you've been very instrumental in helping things getting going here and keeping the thing working. It's got to be a very difficult task. There's really no funds to work with.
No, we're cash poor, but I tell you what, we're spirit rich, and I've got an unbelievable crew of people that work here day in and day out. And the volunteer support that we get is unheard of in what we do. When you think about racing, it's hey, give me sometimes. This is not a crew like that. These guys operate just out of volunteerism, out of a total love for the sport, and that's why I love coming here for days like this, and anytime I get a chance to come out here to home at Williamsport, New York.
Now, we talked about Bob O'Connor here and a little piece of history he wants to bring from here down to the fairgrounds during the Syracuse Nationals. Now, I think it was yesterday, I got an email from a good friend of ours, Corky Stock. And why is everybody laughing? Corky has put into an email to me, which I should pass along to you, that he wants to donate to this museum the original auction block of the National Parks Peddlers Racers Auction and Trade Show. I mean, this was such a tradition for auto racing, and from the, what did he just celebrate? His 30th some year, I think, wasn't it?
32nd, maybe?
32nd, something like that. I mean, 30 plus years here in the upstate New York area. He's had all kinds of things go through those auction lines. Some we are not going to talk about or mention on the air here. But he's got the auction blocks, he's got original photos, he's got all types of memorabilia. He brought up a good idea, what he'd like to do, or what you should do is, you probably can get these for nothing. Get some old store mannequins, dress them up maybe in a cowboy suit with a big old cowboy hat, and have them there like on the auction line, if they're going to be an auction and so on. And then you press a button and the guy starts, hey, what do you want to give here? You know, go through the auction chant and stuff like that. But I can see it in one of these corners over here.
Yeah.
And so you guys got to get, or I'll put Corky in touch with you guys, vice versa, and I think it'll be a great addition to the museum.
Yeah, it's vision like that from people like Corky Stockham and Bob and his crew now at the Syracuse Nationals, Steve Reynolds and his folks from the Empire Super Sprint. These guys have got visions for this museum, and that's what it's all about. We've got such a great community of people behind us who want to be part of this whole vision, and they want to contribute to what this place looks like as it grows and as it becomes something that can be, you know, the centerpiece of motorsports here in Central New York and hopefully a big swath of the Northeast.
By the way, we're enjoying doing these shows in the winter here at the museum, Hall of Fame. And our next show is going to be on February 23rd. Danny Cretan, who's a regular racer at the Orange County Fair Speedway.
You know Danny very well,
I know
don't you?
Danny,
Love
yeah.
Danny. Danny's a good kid.
And he is going to be here. He runs both big block and small blocks down there at the Orange County Fair Speedway.
And
You know,
Mount White,
yeah,
too.
and we ought to get our good friend Tim Pitts from Orange County up here. Yeah, 'cause he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But here again, I got to compliment you guys on what you're doing with the Bob O'Connor situation here. I think it's going to give the organization here a lot of exposure to people. As a matter of fact, we probably should have it open on that weekend. Well, it probably will be open on that weekend, on the weekend of July 19th, 20, and 21.
Hot rodders and race car drivers, we're family, so we all got to stick together and have each other's backs.
Now, during the winter, I've had this asked to me, the hours of operation during the winter. Is there any particular hours?
You'd better call. Yeah, you better call because we're always looking for special groups, people from academics, anybody who's linked to education and want to bring a class here. We'd be more than happy to teach kids a little bit different type of history lesson right here in the museum. Won't have anything to do with the Civil War, so we won't bore you to death. We'll talk to you about race cars and some of the great drivers. One of our best historians, Harry Alkema.
Alkema or is it Alkema?
Alkema, depending on the day you catch him, but Harry's a wealth of knowledge for it, and we're pretty fortunate to have a lot of the guys with, you know, who raced back in that era, who take part in volunteerism here at the museum. And anybody who wants to volunteer can take part. We haven't turned anybody away yet. Well, actually, Doug Elkins, we might turn him away. We've got his application on file. We'll get back to
You guys open in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is probably the first time this year that in the year 2013 that he has been up prior to noon.
Well,
I mean, he can't see daylight. He goes into a
well, he's a vampire. You know,
Yeah,
the vampire
right.
movies are the hot thing. He's the original vampire.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, tells you how special of an event we're having here each and every month. The next one coming up on February 23rd right here. But if Doug's up this early in the morning, it must be an awful special deal. We're awful glad to have him here with us at the Dirt Motorsports Hall of Fame.
We are happy. And keep up the good work. All the I guess we're done. Wayne, you screwed me up.
It's only 9:59. We got short of a minute?
Hey.
Our sponsors are not going to be happy about that. Thanks everybody for coming.
Hey,